Hi, I'm Jen Lee, Head of Marketing for The Bump. Thank you for joining us for this installment of Reclaiming Your Power. Reclaiming Your Power is our series devoted to highlighting changemakers who advocate for better outcomes for Black mothers in the fight against the maternal mortality crisis. It is such an honor to introduce you to Simmone Taitt, founder and CEO of Poppy Seed Health, a telehealth app that is devoted to transforming the way that pregnant, postpartum people and those who have experienced loss receive care. Simmone, thank you so much for joining us.
Jen, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, you have really just shaken up the way that we use technology to advance outcomes for birthing people. I'd love to just hear a little bit more in your own words about Poppy Seed Health. What is it all about?
Sure. Well, to learn more about Poppy Seed Health, you have to know about my own lived experiences. So I'm going to take you back to 2016 when I had my first of what would become multiple pregnancy losses on a very complicated journey to parenthood, which is still complicated for me. But in that appointment where we unfortunately couldn't find the heartbeat, I was in my first trimester, early trimester, and when we couldn't find the heartbeat, instead of getting the kind of caring comfort that I thought my doctor would give to me in those moments, instead she looked at me and told me that my body had terminated the pregnancy, which was like a dagger through the heart and also made me think that something was wrong with me. And then she said, but it's fine. It's normal. This happens all the time. I'll see you on your next appointment when you start trying again. And that was it. She walked out of the room. And I left that doctor's appointment with no medical, emotional, or mental health support. And long story short, I picked up my phone, like 85% of all Americans do, looking for healthcare answers. And very coincidentally, I found what I was looking for: simple blood work and a sonogram to show that I could have subsequent healthy pregnancies. And I picked up the phone and called my own care plan back into my doctor's office. And instead of feeling this relief, instead I was enraged and I was frustrated. I was confused. And it put me on the path to starting Poppy Seed Health, because it was that same day that I came across a doula thread online. And for the first time all day, I felt seen, I felt heard. I was just reading through these responses that were loving and caring, culturally competent. And it was my first introduction to doulas. And I sat back on my couch and I said, look, I shouldn't have spent the last 12 hours looking for this kind of care, which is emotional and mental health support, and decided to build Poppy Seed Health so that we could be the technological solution and telehealth solution for people who need answers immediately in their emotional and mental health journey. And they can connect with a doula, midwife, or nurse at Poppy Seed Health instantaneously by requesting a chat on our app.
That's incredible to take something that was a personal loss and tragedy for you and really form it into something that could help so many people is absolutely the most admirable thing that one could do. So thank you so much. I would love, can you just tell me a little bit more about like what is a doula for those who are watching that might not know or be familiar with what that means?
Jen, that's the $1 million question, because we're seeing doulas all in the media now. We're seeing the name doula. Many people don't know exactly what it is, but then there's kind of this secret club. Everyone who has used a doula, they will say there's no way they could have gotten through their pregnancy or postpartum or even their loss experience without doulas. So doulas, very simply, are the best friend during your pregnancy or postpartum you thought you never needed. We are your emotional support partners. And the reason why I say we is because of my experience in 2016, I decided to become a doula myself. And that was really important for me, to be boots on the ground, to understand exactly what these gaps were in our maternal health care system. So doulas are the emotional health coach and also partner for you and for so many people who are going through their own pregnancy journey, for example, doulas are also there for the entire family unit, which is really important, right? I hear over and over again from, partners and people who come to Poppy that they felt supported because they had the support of a doula. And to be really clear, doulas do not give medical advice. So we are not there to give you any medical advice, but we are absolutely there to give you evidence-based information to empower you to make your own choices and to understand what's happening in your journey as you're going along. Plus, we have all the tips and tricks for all like those shameful, stigmatized things that no one is talking about. And we are there for you to be seen and supported.
That's incredible, Simmone, and congrats on becoming a doula. I have to say, I have had 3 kids, and I, didn't have a doula. And I know that I'm like kicking myself now because I know that would have been a part of the experience. It would have made things even smoother. But I think that is so important that people are now learning about who doulas are and how they can play an important role in the whole process. So that's very cool. So one thing that you hit on a little bit is the aspect of emotional health and mental health, being as important as the physical health as you're pursuing pregnancy and, pursuing, actually getting to delivery day and beyond. What was your personal experience like with that? What kind of feedback are you hearing from your users about the role of emotional health?
Yeah. So, I don't know that most people know this, but the data shows that one of the places that pregnant people especially go when they're looking for answers because they either don't have a provider that they trust or they don't understand what's happening in their own journey, is to the internet, right? And unless you have this gift of discernment, there's a lot of information out there that just doesn't match either who you are, your lived experiences, or what you're actually looking for. So, emotional health and mental health and well being is just as important. We are at Poppy, we often say that we're the best supplemental and collaborative care partner to your medical side of things, right? Like, we are the place that you're coming to talk about those hemorrhoids that no one told you that you would get during your 3rd trimester. And you're already looking toward your due date. You're already probably not feeling all that great. And here we are with hemorrhoids, right? It's stigmatized, it's shameful. You can come to Poppy and have this one-on-one conversation with us. And some would say, well, like, where's the emotional benefit in there? Well, we meet you exactly where you are in those acute needs within seconds. So when you don't feel great about yourself, we are there to tell you and to hold that space for you. Another, aspect of emotional health that is so important, and specifically to my own experience, was I really didn't have any place to go when I went through my pregnancy losses. I had my family and my friends, and I often say our love network is amazing, but they are also biased. And so there is a place that just didn't exist to go for my own emotional wellness to, kind of scream into the void, but with someone on the other end that I didn't have to, make a different character for. I could show up exactly like myself. And that's exactly what we ask our members to do every day, that we are holding space for vulnerability, and emotional and mental health is it's such an important part of the journey, in pregnancy and postpartum, which can be the most loneliest and most isolating times. The last thing that I'll say there too is that we as a culture have not been taught how to hold space for people when it comes to vulnerable, intimate, and sometimes some of the most isolating things that we go through. And we absolutely need to stop the shame. And that is one of those things that can be a very lonely experience. Sometimes you feel like you're the only one. There's just no place in our maternal healthcare journey in the US that centers emotional and mental health support. So we're doing it, and we built the technology to be able to scale that kind of support in a really important way. And we think it's critical. It's part of the 360 care model that doesn't exist, and we're changing that now.
That's so awesome. I'm curious, Simone, do you see users that are people of color or particularly Black birthing people interacting with your platform maybe differently than the majority?
Absolutely. In some significant ways as well, right? So we know that studies have now found that when you have a provider who looks like you, who has culturally competent information, evidence-based information and care, it changes the outcomes for both the birthing person and also the baby. And by the way, the entire family, right? The entire family unit is affected when there are complications that could be prevented, mortalities that could be prevented. And so we know that the data is very clear there. So for poppy seed health, we made it a point to build our advocate network, which is all over the country, by the way, which is why we are able to respond to chats with it within 90 seconds or less when you request to chat with us. But it was really important for us to mirror who we know is showing up at Poppy. And so more than 50% of those advocates identify as BIPOC, 30% identify as queer. And that's really important. So when you request a chat on Poppy Seed Health, the magic in the background, the magic of the technology is that we are matching you on things like pregnancy, postpartum, and loss support. Soon we'll be matching you on things like lactation support, feeding support, race and ethnicity, if that's important to you, right? And so the more we learn from our users, especially those members who are coming to us very specifically looking for culturally competent care, the better our product becomes because we are product first and we're building for you, right? So that behavior is really important for us.
That is unmatched. 90 seconds is really such a record. I can barely get people in my own house, my kids, to respond in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's powerful.
I know that's
That's
really
powerful.
important, actually. It's one of the biggest differentiating factors for us. I think it's what makes Poppy so powerful, but not powerful because we built the technology. We want to sit back and just look at the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
We want you to use it. Like that's why I built it. It's what I needed. I often say, like selfishly, I built Poppy Seed Health for me, but really I built it for me and all of us. And just imagine, sitting on the toilet and wiping and seeing something weird at 3 a.m. in the morning. You need someone to go to, and we want you to come to us. We love that stuff. So, yeah,
That is a very real
yes, it is.
experience. Very real experience. So, just as we wrap up, Simone, any words of encouragement for Black women who may be thinking of expanding their family or who may already be pregnant?
Yes. Oh gosh, I have so much advice, but and my own experiences, I'm going to stick to three really big ones. We think about this a lot, and I think about it a lot myself as a Black woman who hopes to be a mother one day. I'm always hopeful and also always trying. And one of the things I've found for myself is I need to center joy. There is a lot of terrifying information out there that is also truthful, right? And centering joy and bringing it back to wanting and needing to be a Black woman who is birthing in a system that isn't necessarily built to support me in the ways that I thought that it was, although it's, getting better, and we are working on that ourselves at Poppy, is to make sure that I am focused so much on that critical element of joy, which to me ties back to my own mental and emotional health support. The second thing is my care team, right? It's really important to have a care team that you trust. And that care team, it starts with trust, making the decisions with your care team that are collaborative and also really clear on your expectations. We are no longer living in a world where being a patient is exclusive of being involved in your own care. This is a bi-directional support system, and it is totally bi-directional as it relates to your own your own care team, especially on your provider side. And then the third thing is the bump for example, is investing in these incredible hubs of culturally competent information, right? Evidence-based information, stories from people who look exactly like us. And I will tell you, 75% of everyone that comes to Poppy, they go directly to our content. They're doing that because we all want information that we trust, information that we can connect with. And so make sure that you're getting the kind of information that you can connect with on both a personal level and that you know that you can trust. And I guess a bonus thing in here is to make sure that you have the kind of support system that you can depend on, right? Like there is this, entire world out there, which is so not true, that you can do everything on your own, that we have to be the strong ones to figure out how to be great parents, a great home chef, taking care of everyone else. Absolutely not. And I stand really boldly in this. This is the time for you to be taken care of, and asking for help and asking for support is and should be a part of the process and a part of your own expectations to start building that muscle. Whether you're trying to conceive, currently pregnant, a new parent, I am empowering you and telling you to ask for help.
That is such a great note to end on. Simmone, thank you so much. I do want to say one thing. Part of the magic of coming together with you to learn more about Poppy is that, we don't want to have to be online at 2 a.m., searching and searching for 2 hours to find the information. You've made the information, you've created a resource, and then like sort of plussed it up from there to make it really easy for people to find what they need and to connect and get answers, and using technology to help us move this maternal mortality crisis forward and improve the outcome. So I'm so grateful to you, my new friend. This is wonderful. Thank you for sharing this with our audience.
Thanks for having me.
For more info, visit the Bump Black Maternal Health Hub so you can be supported, informed, and empowered during your journey to and through parenthood.